settle in. Let the room dim a little around you. And before I begin tonight's story, if these calm, slow stories are helping you rest, you can leave a gentle like and subscribe so another one can be waiting for you here tomorrow night. Now, tonight I want to take you to a small harbor room above the tide, not out on the noisy docks, not among the daytime gulls and ropes and engines, but higher, quieter, in a room with salt-worn floorboards and a window that looks over dark water moving very slowly under moonlight. The harbor is nearly asleep when you arrive. Boats are tied and still. Lanterns burn low on the pier, and the shops along the quay have already drawn their shutters. You climb a side stair beside the chandlery, up past coils of old rope, past a faded lifebuoy on the wall, past a row of hooks where raincoats once hung, until you reach the little room beneath the eaves. The door is open, and inside, a lamp with a blue shade glows on a desk beside the window. There is a narrow bed with a wool blanket, a kettle on a small iron stove, 2 chairs, and shelves lined with seashells, navigation books, and little glass bottles filled with smooth white sea stones. The whole room smells of tea, salt air, varnished wood, and the faint mineral scent of the tide just beginning to turn. At the desk sits the harbor keeper, an older man with weather-soft hands and a sweater the color of fog. He looks up, smiles, and says, "You came for the quiet tide," as if that is reason enough for anyone to be anywhere. You step to the window, and below the water is dark blue silk, only slightly folded where it moves around the pilings. Here and there, small reflections from the harbor lamps stretch across it in long, thin gold lines. Boats rock so gently that they seem to be dreaming rather than moving. The harbor keeper pours hot water into a teapot, then places 2 cups on the sill between you and the tide. "Peppermint tonight," he says. "The water likes a quiet tea." You sit in the chair nearest the window. The cushion is soft from long use, and the lamp beside you makes the room feel smaller in the nicest possible way. Smaller, safer, less full of demands. Outside, the tide keeps shifting. Inside, the stove gives off a steady, low warmth, and the harbor keeper pages slowly through a weather book. Not because the weather must be solved, only because old habits can be comforting when done gently enough. He tells you after a time that the room above the tide was once used by night watchmen, men who sat by the window and listened to ropes knock softly against masts, waiting for nothing urgent, only keeping company with the harbor until morning. Somehow that feels soothing, the idea that a person can spend hours simply keeping company with the night, not fighting it, not filling it, only sitting near it while the world grows quieter. The tea warms your hands, the tide eases against the pilings below, and every now and then a bully bell gives the smallest rounded note, so far away it barely counts as sound, more like a reminder that not every bell is meant to alarm. Some bells are only meant to keep time for the sea. You think of the day you came from, all its crossings, all its jagged little motions, and then you look again at the water below, how it rises, how it loosens, how it lets moonlight fall across it without trying to hold the shape. Perhaps that is what tired thoughts need, not to be gripped tighter, only to be allowed their own tide. Coming in, going out, slowly becoming less sharp. The harbor keeper closes his book, leans back in his chair, and says, "The quiet tide takes what the day leaves behind if you let it." Neither of you speaks after that. There is no need. The room already knows what to do with silence. The lamp keeps its blue little glow. The stove keeps the air warm. And beyond the window, the water keeps moving at exactly the speed the heart needs when it is almost ready to sleep. When your tea is gone, you draw the wool blanket a little higher over your knees and rest your head back against the chair. The harbor below grows softer. The ropes and masts blur into darker shapes. The bells become fewer. The tide becomes gentler still. So tonight, you can remain there a little longer if you like, in the small harbor room above the water, with the lamp glowing blue, the peppermint tea cooling beside you, and the slow tide carrying the last of the day away from the dock. Let the boats drift. Let the moon keep its quiet watch. Let the water loosen whatever you no longer want to hold. And let sleep come in with the tide. Good night.